Guys will get into relationships for the wrong reason. They get into it for need. The relationship is not with the girl, it's with the image of the girl. And it's not based on being with the girl, it's based on solving a personal problem that has nothing to do with the girl. Resoundingly, the word they would use and what they were looking for in their next partner is a leader.
It's interesting. You're speaking to these independent women, and yet they still want a man in their life. They want a man, they want a leader, even though they're leaders. Welcome to Marriage IQ, the podcast helping you become an intelligent spouse.
I'm Heidi Hastings.
And I'm Scott Hastings. Hello, everyone.
For today, we're joined by Paul Roseberry, a relationship expert and a matchmaker who works with men on a skill that he's found to be the key to thriving relationships. And what he's found is really fascinating. When men build real emotional strength and identity, everything in relationships shifts, and women really truly benefit too. So today we're talking about masculinity and the key factor almost everyone misses when trying to build a healthy marriage. So welcome, Paul, to Marriage IQ.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here. Yeah, I think we're going to cover some great topics. I think you guys have set us up to really nail some big points that people want to hear about today.
So, Paul, if we zoom out a little bit, look at your life as a developmental arc.
Sure.
Not your resume, but like your identity.
Yeah.
What are some key moments that shaped you to become what you're doing now to teach men about masculinity and relationships?
Great question. And to put it bluntly, I was a fat kid. We were poor. And my parents raised me vegetarian in the 80s. I had no say in the matter. Once I got a little bit older, I started hitting the gym. I put some gel in my hair. I felt like I looked better. I thinned out. But when I talked to girls, yeah, I looked pretty good. Not bad. But I still saw myself as the 8-year-old fat kid with holes in his shoes. And so when I would talk to girls, they think they're talking to a guy whose confidence level is going to be comparable to the gel in my hair, like I can hold my own. And then I'm freaking out that a girl this cute is even really talking to me. And so I act weird. I would totally blow it. It's like the guy who's not ready to catch the ball. I'm just dumping it. It took a long time for me to understand what I was doing wrong in dating and in relationships and where it all stemmed from. But just feeling not confident in myself, not feeling really excited about what I brought to the table at all. I remember being maybe 21 and being upset, being like, I don't know why a girl would even want to be with me. And, and I'm 6 feet tall, pretty good shape. There were plenty of reasons, but I didn't see them. And if I don't see those reasons, it's not your job to tell me why I should be feeling good about myself. That's heavy. So basically, I did it all wrong. I did it all wrong for a very long time until I took a lot of self-reflection. The reason I got into matchmaking, I worked for two of the largest matchmaking agencies in the country, and they're very high volume. And that was why I went there, because I wanted to experience in mass, at scale, my perspectives on what constitutes healthy, successful relationships. And I've come to have a fantastic relationship now. I've been with my wife for 12 years. We have a baby, but relationship pain, I think, is some of the heaviest in life.
It sounds like you're tapping into a common theme for a lot of men, Paul, who they don't feel perhaps masculine. They don't feel that they're living into that role of being solid, of being strong, and they feel kind of unsure about themselves. And so perhaps some men project that into becoming a weak character, and other men hide it by going the other way into this hyper masculine mode.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe kind of picking apart for men anyway, because I know that there are a lot of women out there. We hear from our listeners, we hear from other people about how to teach men, how to educate men on knowing who they are better so they can show up in the relationship better. And what I'm hearing you say here is that at some point you became very, very self-reflective. You started taking those notes like, okay, this is what happens when I'm not showing up as a solid partner in this relationship. Because it seems to me anyway that women want a lot of things and they want someone solid, a
I
solid man.
I have my opinions on what women want, but I want to hear what Paul has observed the women want.
I love having that tossed to me from a woman. This is no pressure. No pressure.
Let's see. I'll let you know which ones I think you're you're spot on with.
So what I've devised for my teaching, because I really want to find a focal point to base everything from, I call my method the security method.
Okay. So you think women want security?
Yes, number one, before anything else. And I think both men and women do, but it's critical in the sense, and I focus on helping men. So I think the focal point is to start with security. Guys will get into relationships for the wrong reason. They get into it for need. They get into it for need. Men will enter a relationship with a woman because he doesn't feel big, he doesn't feel strong, he doesn't feel valuable. But if this girl's hot enough, she validates him. And if he walks down the street with her to show that someone of her caliber vouches for him, then he stands taller, then he feels whole. And now immediately it's a usury situation. The relationship is not with the girl, it's with the image of the girl. And it's not based on being with the girl, it's based on solving a personal problem that has nothing to do with the girl. So security is the number one thing women want, I believe.
Okay, so security is the number one thing women want.
Yep.
That sounds to me a little bit superficial. Because as you said, you can have security, but you can't have this connection, this deep connection, right?
Well, no, the security is breached. So when the woman feels she's being used, not connected with, but being used to serve a purpose of solving his problem, then that's when there's zero security. There's none, because now you realize there's no security in the relationship because the single strand that keeps the relationship together has been identified, and it's not mutual interest. It's solving a problem. So she might say to herself, okay, so what is it about me that solves a problem for him? Is it that I'm beautiful? Okay, great. That feels good for half a second. Until, being a rational human, we all go, I'm not the only beautiful person on earth. So hold on, if this is just about looks, well, anyone else with great looks or better could replace me. Or I gain 5 pounds, or I, whatever. Then there's no security because you feel you could be replaced by anybody. Security in a relationship is when a man and woman both enter the relationship out of interest, not out of need, not out of need. Just like if a guy has money or if she has money and he doesn't, then it's, oh, this is about the money, not me. If you go, I don't feel that he needs me to feel whole. He seems like a pretty whole, confident guy. And he's with me because he's genuinely interested. And he's made it clear at certain times that if things don't feel comfortable, then neither of us need to participate in this. And that can be said gently.
So most of the people who listen to Marriage IQ are in long-term marriages. I think there are definitely those who are struggling and those who really just want to make it better. So how does your model then relate to them?
It's the exact same model. It's the exact same model. And I've watched it over any length of time. Any length of time. You've got to maintain that this relationship is interest-based.
Okay.
That's it. I'll tell you, as a matchmaker, the reason, and I obviously had my own opinions going into it, but I wanted just to see at a big number if this held up. And if not, I'm open to adjustment because I want the truth, not to be right, if those are two different things. The majority of my clients, at least 2/3, who are middle-aged women who have been married once, they're divorced, and they're looking to get into a new long-term relationship. These women, so as we talk about being concerned of feminist feelings or whatever, these women would lean toward feminism, I'm sure. I would spend a lot of time with these women. I would really profile and learn about who they are. Resoundingly, the word they would use and what they were looking for in their next partner is a leader.
It's interesting. You're speaking to these independent women, and yet they still want a man in their life. They want a man, they want a leader. Even though they're leaders, they want that leadership, that rock, that feeling secure, like you're saying, like really secure, not just the superficial secure of, oh, he's got money, so I've got it made kind of secure, but like a true life partner secure.
100%.
And so I'm just wondering, as far as developing masculinity, like true masculinity in men, do you have some advice, some things that you share with men, like developing that character, what it is, how do we develop it, so we can start developing trust with women who really, at the end of the day, they want to come home to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, first off, one of the first things that I work with all of my clients, I refer to it as becoming aware of your assets. You've got it, because basically I've broken confidence down to a formula,
Ooh.
and it's transferable to any situation, relationships or not. And I'll sound really nerdy for a minute because I like formulas. C equals A greater than or equal to T. So confidence occurs when your assets are equal to or greater than the requirements of the task.
Okay. What kind of assets are like big ones for men to gain?
To bring it right to your question as to how does a man start to feel like a man and tap into his masculinity, just start by taking a look. And it ties in. I love how you said identity. A lot of people aren't aware of their own identity. We have a notion of who society has told us we are, who our parents told us we are, who schoolyard kids told us we are. Hey, maybe someone in the street yelling at you to tell you what they think of you, whether it matters or not.
So that would include like education, work experience.
I think if you start off, just ask yourself, what do you like to do? What do you like to do with your free time? And start there, because you got to find out who you are. As you find out who you are, then you start to figure out what you're into, and then you can start to be comfortable with those things.
What you're good at.
Stand up for who you are. As you begin to identify who you are, then you can appreciate who you are. And that's how you develop your assets, because these are things you already have in place. You have things which identify you as an individual. If you've been avoiding them, you never looked in the wallet because you're afraid there was nothing there. Or maybe it was an IOU, you're in negative. But as you become aware of the positive things that make you you, then my job really, first off, is to get you excited about you. I'm a self-marketing pro, if you will. I get you pumped about your own product. So then you go, oh man, I do bring a lot to the table. Well, of course I deserve a partner. Of course. Well, of course. Yeah. Listen, guys like a cheerleader. We talk about what women want, and I'll tell you, it's something that men want. Men want a woman who's proud of him. That's what he wants. As soon as the guy comes home to not being enough, and he should be this and he should be that, and he's the reason, and we don't know, then he's like, he gets tiny, tiny, tiny. And if he doesn't know how to stand up and go, hey, hold on. Yeah, I'm not perfect, but I mean, let's be real. I actually do bring quite a bit, and you know that, and that's why I'm with you, because you bring quite a bit, and we have a lot to work with here. It's not perfect. We can make it better, but I'm not going to sit here and be the cause of all fault. But if you don't know how to stand up and protect, this is where I keep coming back to the term security. Security is the ability to protect that which has value. And if you can do that for yourself, that is hot, 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 hot. That is hot. When a woman sees a man can protect his own value, she goes, well, you do a good job doing it for yourself. The strength of it comes with repetition.
So I agree with you, what you're saying. And I think that it's possible for all of us to become more emotionally intelligent, which includes awareness, by the way, like you said. I love how you said, I know what my assets are. I know what I'm good at. I've thought about it. I reviewed it. I'm good at this. I feel confident with this. I can go move into this relationship with confidence. But I think for people maybe who are married, sometimes their spouse doesn't like some of the things that they are confident about.
There is one thing I want to point out that I've seen relative to what we're talking about right now. There are times where I've seen women who will deny or try to cut down their partner's interests and skills.
Asset.
Yes, assets. Yep. Because, probably not consciously, but there's a fear. Well, wait a minute. If he gets too good at this thing, or if he becomes too focused on this thing and realizing how big of a part of his life it is, and I don't share that thing, or I'm not as good at it, then he's going to realize he should be with someone who has a similar interest and skill, and we're going to be separated.
That's a good point. But also, if separating isn't really on the table, another way that I would maybe reframe that is, if he gets so good at this and he's spending so much time at this, this is eating away and taking away time from my relationship with him. He's gone to work all day. I'm doing my job. I work from home all day. He comes home. If he's wanting to do this all the time,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not just speaking for Scott, but for anybody, whatever it is, watching football, playing sports, doing whatever, then that narrows and narrows down our intimate time and our ability to connect over things. So, yeah, I mean,
Competitive, like actually competitive. You could feel competitive toward that interest because exactly as you're saying, that interest could feel more attractive to him than you do.
just very time consuming, yep, and enticing, right? It's maybe not another woman, it's maybe the controversy, the competition.
And for that reason, you're going to want to cut that down. You're going to say, oh, that is horrible. Football is the worst. I don't know why anybody would play it. I don't know anybody would watch it. All these guys do is get hurt. You know, they get head injuries. It's not because you really feel that way about football. You go, because for 3 months out of the year, I don't have a husband. And, you know, even just within that confine, yes, it can feel very competitive.
That is a really important thing to kind of explore, I guess. Why am I feeling like I don't really like this asset that he has? And maybe those are the questions we need to start asking ourselves is what is it about this asset that feels threatening to my security?
That's the best way to put it. That is the best, no truer words. What about that asset feels threatening to your security? And I bet as you dig in and really break it down, it can be overcome
How do you help people overcome it then?
by breaking down where the actual fault is. And fault just meaning in a literal sense, like an earthquake fault. Where is the break? Where is the problem? What is the actual problem?
So I think, back to the masculinity. Yeah, I think the term can be really defined differently depending on who you talk to. And for me, it is being strong, providing security, not just financial, but emotional security, but also being vulnerable at times when I can feel that my wife is safe. That is being masculine.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more? I really like that.
So I think this is confusing for a lot of women because they, at the end of the day, when they are having their moment of emotional breakdown, they want someone secure in their husband. They don't want their husband to now then share their vulnerabilities or insecurities. They want them to be strong and solid and secure at that time when they are vulnerable. But they also want vulnerability from their husband. They don't want them to be a rock all the time. They want them to share their feelings, but only when it's safe enough for them to feel it. And so they don't even know when that is a lot of times. And so it's up to us as men. We have to know this. The true masculine male needs to read his wife. I know you don't want to read minds. I get that. But there are definitely some pretty big cues. And when you sense that, there are times I have to be just like a wall, a very cozy wall, a strong wall, a wall of masculinity. And then other times when she feels really safe and secure and we're watching a movie or a sunset or something, now I can share vulnerability, but I can't be the wall all the time. That's not ultimately masculine. I have to know when to be soft and when to be strong for her. That is a truly quintessential masculine male, in my view, anyway. And knowing how to read your wife and doing both and becoming both at those times.
Well said.
Yes,
That was great.
absolutely. And I love how you're like glowing right now. Yeah, and absolutely, man. Like, I explain that. That's on. A lot of guys, especially the younger guys now, but even again, I say everything that's a seed early on at the beginning of a relationship can be the root of issues later on, 10, 20, 30 years in, 50 years, who knows? A lot of guys right now, they feel that a man can't be sensitive. He can't let his guard down, as you're saying, be soft in front of a woman because she'll see it as weakness and she'll leave him. Well, let's clarify that. There is a natural order in which things occur. You can't lead with the soft. You've got to build that credibility. You've got to be strong, then soft. It's kind of like, say we go to this bread store. If I go in on the first day and I'm like, hey, can I just have the bread on credit? They go, well, who the hell are you? You just have a loaf of bread and walk out without paying for it? Of course not. But if I go in and I buy bread every week for a few months, and then one day I'm like, hey, I ain't got $5. Still got to eat. And I'll have 10 next week. They go, well, you come every week. Sure. You've earned it. You've earned the credit. You've earned the comfort. You've got to be able to show first that you have the strength. And then as you've proven the strength, the security, the ability to provide security, then you go, hey, well, you know what? I don't have an impenetrable wall either, because that leads to security in a relationship. A woman has to feel like she knows where your weakness is too. That's being real. If you go, well, nothing could ever touch on, oh, okay, so you're a liar. You don't trust me enough to be honest with me. So I'm not really with you. I'm with a facade. Well, now we're back to no security. There's no real connection point. But if you go, all right, I can protect us from lions, tigers, bears, hawks, snakes. Oh, I'm going to need you to be good at snakes. And it's funny. I didn't mean that to be the Garden of Eden metaphor. Then she goes, okay, now I know you. I want to work with you.
Yeah. And just getting back to that story with these women again coming in to talk to you, they want a leader. They want a man who's a leader.
Literally, just right there, both of those things, because they would actually say in that order every time. They would say, "I want a leader," and they'd go, "You know what I mean? I want a man." What you just said, both of what you just said, is exactly what they would say every time. They said both those things.
Hopefully, these women out there are able to further refine what they're looking for, who they're looking for, and what they want. Because again, a lot of people, they think they know, they kind of have an inkling, but they don't really know. And the purpose of this podcast is to help you refine who you are, your identity, and what you want, who you want to become. They want a leader. Okay, let's look for men who are strong and also sensitive. Some women might say these are unicorns. I don't know if I can disagree with that, but we're trying to teach men so that there's more men out there who can learn this nuance of masculinity.
I think a lot of people are afraid of that leader term. And I think we've kind of come around in a couple different ways in this chat, because, some people are more nervous. They might say, oh, leader, you mean he makes all the decisions and I don't make any, and I'm marginalized and I don't exist. That's terrifying.
Yeah, we believe in shared power. We believe that you can be a leader and still share power, decision-making power.
Yeah, because a leader means that someone who knows their identity reasonably well, knows what they want out of their life, and they're pursuing those things. And if you have alignment on some level, it doesn't have to be, we both love football, but we both love to have passion in our lives. I love football. You love Peru. Great. Well, at least we're both passionate people who want to learn more. Great. Then that person goes, okay, well, because I know who I am and what I want, and the way I want to lead my own life, if your life coincides enough, then we can work together.
We got a Venn diagram there.
Yes. And that leader then says, but if we have nothing in common, then there's no point in doing this. We're both physically attracted. Cool. That's awesome. That's sex. But, I need to be in a relationship with someone who has similar values, interests, whatever. Then he's going to lead in his path of interest. And that's what leadership, it doesn't mean that he tells her what they're going to have for dinner every night. He tells her what she can wear for clothes. That's where you get toxic and crazy. But that sort of leadership, that he knows what direction he wants his life to go, and he's going to pursue that. And he's welcome to having someone who's in that same direction. But if not, then not. And if you can be that person as well as a woman, because anything I advise is mutually beneficial for the man and the woman. Otherwise, it would be toxic. If it's only good for one, that's not good.
My wife knows that she has equal power in this relationship. She has equal power in this relationship. Interestingly, she defers to me quite a bit. And it's just how it goes.
She defers to you, meaning?
To make the decision.
Say, what do you think? I don't feel strongly one way or another. Do you want to?
So hopefully feels like she has power.
Yeah, if
to
I
make
didn't
decisions.
agree with him, I definitely know that I.
But it is
can make
interesting
the
how she does
decision.
defer to me in that quite a bit. Not every time.
Oh, good. Does that have a feeling to you one way or the other?
Well, it's just, I think it's illustrating this whole leadership thing. If you want somebody to be a leader, but yet you want equal power, that does sound a little dichotomous, right? But in reality, it's just that feeling, that safety, like I do have a say, I have power, equal power. I am going to defer to you.
On this.
Men and women are not the same. That's it, ultimately. And what brings us comfort in the relationship may not be exactly the same because we're not the same. But that's great. I love that. I love hearing you guys sound like you have a really good thing going.
We do. We do. Well, it's been really great, Paul, to have you on today. And if any of our listeners want to explore what their assets are and how to grow in confidence and show up in your relationship in that way, how do they get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
Wherever relationship truth is being upheld, I'll be that I had to. I was just
Great.
never said that as a response before. Maybe I will always. PaulRoseberry.com. You can reach me, Paul@PaulRoseberry.com is my email. That's the best way. And listen, I work with people. I do coaching where we can really outline what it is that you want to work on, define your goal, and then get you there. We can do that. But also, if you just have kind of a one-off question, if you just want to have a chat, listen, I offer a 20-minute free introduction convo with everyone who has any interest in talking with me. Shoot me a question via email, or if you want to chat for 20 minutes, we can do that as well. Paul@PaulRoseberry.com is the best way.
Okay.
Great. We really appreciate you spending the time.
Yeah. Thanks
with
for the
us.
conversation today, Paul. And for all of you out there listening, we hope that you've been able to learn something today about masculinity, relationships, marriage, all sorts of things today. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, reach out to us. hello@marriageiq.com. Make sure and look us up on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Leave us a comment, a rating. We'd sure love that. Remember that the intelligent spouse knows that to change from a stinky to a scintillating marriage first requires a change in themselves.
And we'll see you on the next episode of
Marriage IQ.